Obviously, one of my favorite classes is the Rogue. We've got like a revision of the Rogue. We got playtest of the Rogue, and we've got another Rogue subclass as well. What are we seeing new for this beloved class?
So, the first thing to say about the Rogue is people love it. We within the past year, we did a big survey of asking people their satisfaction with not only all of the classes in the 2014 Player's Handbook, but also all of the features in those classes. And one of the things that became super clear about the Rogue is almost everything in this class is beloved.
Okay.
And so people are going to see in this playtest fewer things have changed in the Rogue than in, say, the Bard or the Ranger. The Rogue is so solid in the 2014 PH, and again, so beloved, that what you're going to see here is a sequence of careful refinements rather than sort of big swings. Because when we looked at, hey everyone, what do you think? Most of what we saw, and in some cases the satisfaction levels from the thousands of people who took those surveys were in the 90 percentile range. Like some of the Rogue features were like 95% satisfaction, 96% satisfaction, which is a message to us of tread carefully. Let's make sure that where there's an opportunity to improve something, we do so, but otherwise, let the Rogue be the Rogue. Now, the story's a little different when we get to the Rogue subclasses, so we'll talk about the subclasses separately. In the base class, some of the main things you're going to see is that some of the features in the class have moved around a bit, including the Rogue getting their second subclass feature way sooner than they did before. Because one of the things that was a bit of a pain point for Rogues in the past is this feeling of waiting too long for your second subclass feature, because Rogues had a much bigger gap between their first subclass feature and their later features than most of our classes have. But also someone is going to notice, if they look at all three classes in this Unearthed Arcana, that all three classes get their subclass features at the same levels. That's intentional. We are normalizing subclass progression. And there are a number of reasons for this. One of this is so that we can sync up how subclasses function better. It will also make multi-classing a bit more smooth in terms of what to expect as you dip into different classes. We can talk more about this angle perhaps in a future video.
Right, yeah.
But the main thing that is significant for the Rogue is they're going to get the goodies from their subclasses sooner and be able to enjoy them sooner. We've also improved several of the features in subtle but fun ways. One super simple example right at first level. Thieves' Cant now not only gives you Thieves' Cant, but another language. The narrative of this feature being that as a person who has spent a lot of time getting to know a particular town or city or other area, getting to know it very well as a part of your roguish work, we realized, well, you wouldn't only have picked up this Thieves' Cant, but also extra ways to just talk to people normally. We also have improved in subtle ways features like Slippery Mind, where now instead of just getting wisdom saves, you get wisdom and charisma saves. Because what we're doing here is just turning the volume up on the Rogue a little bit. And one of the Rogue's characteristics is being extremely resilient in tricksy ways. What I mean by that is we have other classes that are resilient, but they tend to be resilient in the ways of, like, they have a high armor class, or they have a lot of hit points, or they're able to heal people. The Paladin is all three of those things. The Rogue is resilient in other ways. The Rogue is resilient through uncanny dodge, through evasion, through Slippery Mind. The Rogue is the one you can't even
Yeah.
you can't even land a hit on, or even when you do, it doesn't do what you think it was going to do, or when the spell is cast on them, well, they seem to actually avoid most of its harm. That's what one of the things the rogue is all about. The rogue also, of course, is about sneak attack, and sneak attack is still here. It's foundational for the class. But one of the brand new features that rogues get in this playtest is an ability at 13th level called Subtle Strikes. In sneak attack, rogues have always been able to sneak attack somebody that they either have advantage against when they're attacking with a finesse weapon or a ranged weapon, or if one of their allies is within 5 feet of their target and their ally isn't incapacitated. So it's that second requirement of you can sneak attack when somebody else, it's sort of virtual flanking. Someone else is flanking that target. What Subtle Strikes does for the rogue at 13th level is turn the volume up on that a little bit, because what Subtle Strikes does is gives the rogue advantage whenever attacking anyone who is within 5 feet of one of their allies who is not incapacitated. So rather than that situation being an on switch for sneak attack, it's now sort of a double on switch, because now that situation just automatically gives the rogue advantage, which advantage itself enables sneak attack. But now you have that extra boost of just, bam, I just got advantage. It's a high-level feature. It's really tasty. And I think it's going to make high-level rogue play really nice. Because our thinking here is once you are approaching like being not just a rogue, but an epic rogue, you eventually shouldn't have to worry as much about setting up your sneak attack. That you eventually get to the point of like, I've got this. I've been doing this for 13 levels now. I am a pro, unlike anybody else. Rogues also are going to benefit from things the other classes in the playtest are benefiting from. Their 20th level feature from the past, Stroke of Luck, they now get at 18th level. They're getting an epic boon at 20th level. And then there is the subclass that's here that has a whole bunch of improvements.
Right.
And that is the Thief.
Yeah, let's get into the Thief. I love thieves. So
So the Thief has little new options, tune-ups all over the place. I'm looking at it right now, and things like second story work, where functionally similar to what it was before, except now you just straight up get a climb speed. And one of the new options here for the Thief is you can now use your dexterity when you jump instead of your strength.
nice.
Because we really want the Thief, the classic treasure hunting kind of cat burglar style subclass, to be great at this, of getting to those hard to reach places. We also have made Supreme Sneak, where you have advantage on your dexterity stealth checks. We've made it a little easier. We now don't require you to slow down. We just require that you're not wearing medium or heavy armor to have this on. Use Magic Device, which you now get at 10th level, has gotten really juicy. We wanted to make it clearer what this feature does for you, and especially as we're exploring more this idea of the Thief being, again, sort of a cat burglar / treasure hunter type. This feature now gives you several awesome abilities. One, it lets the Thief attune to a 4th magic item, so they get to cheat and go beyond the base 3.
Which makes sense.
Which, by the way, the Thief cheating was a theme in some of these redesigns, like the Thief getting to use dexterity for jumping instead of strength, the Thief getting to attune to 4 magic items instead of 3. Still not as many magic items as the Artificer can attune to.
But if anyone's going to be stealing,
yes.
So
yes,
yeah.
The Thief also has now the chance, whenever they use a magic item that has charges, a chance that they use it in the charges and it's expended. They also have clearer rules now on how they can use scrolls. We've also changed how Thief's reflexes work. That feature previously gave the thief an extra turn at the beginning of a combat. That sometimes created some initiative messiness. We wanted to give you something that wasn't locked to the first round of a combat and wasn't creating potential problems for the DM with initiative. And so the new Thieves' Reflexes now allows the thief a certain number of times per day to take a second bonus action on some of their turns. So this thief, few times a day.
Again, you've cheated now.
Yeah,
you get
you've
two bonus
cheated.
actions.
And again, this is the cheating theme for the thief. Instead of the only one bonus action that everyone else is bound to, you get on certain turns two. Again, this is limited. You're not going to be able to do it all day long, but I think awesome. It's going to make the thief the person, and this is by design, who when people are playtesting it, I'm hoping the response will often be by the other players at the table observing the thief in play. Like, you did what?
Yeah.
Wait, you were able
You're
to do
not
that?
allowed to do that. Yeah. There's going to be a lot of it.
And that is the whole point of the subclass, is they are tweaking the rules in a way that is thematically appropriate for them.
I still going to be able to cast two full level spells.
No, well, because again, these are bonus actions, not a whole turn.
No, I just want to cheat everything.
So the other thing that is critical, not just for the thief, but for the whole rogue, is that change to the light weapon property that we talked about earlier. Now, because of the change to the light weapon property in this playtest, your use of two light weapons, if that's how you choose to fight as a rogue, no longer uses your bonus action. Because now, light weapons, again, just in these playtest rules, we'll see if this makes it into the final version of the books. Light weapons now allow you, when you attack on your turn with the attack action, to make that extra attack that used to require your bonus action,
right.
You now get to do it as part of the same attack action that the other attack was a part of. And that frees up the rogue who likes to use two daggers or two short swords or some other combination of light weapons. It allows them to do that style of fighting on the same turn that they're using their bonus action for cunning action, for example.
Right.
So this is going to be, not only was it a big deal for Rangers, this is going to be a really big deal in the playtest for Rogues, because it means if you are a Rogue who likes light weapon use, you're no longer having that usage competing
right.
with the other things that Rogues want to use their bonus action for, because Rogues are in many ways the preeminent bonus action class, because cunning action is amazing for Rogues, has been, for all of 5th edition, and we want to make sure that its use is protected for Rogue players, and that was one of the many reasons why we created the version of the light weapon property that appears here.